Hi there everyone, very warm welcome to you back at my channel. I hope that you are simply doing great like always. Before I move ahead, I would like to say here that the second thumbs up basically belongs to you whenever you hit the like button. So I'll be looking forward to that also, if you like the video of course. So let's move ahead and begin with our today's discussion topic. Basically, I titled it at the outset as how to behave with kids or your students, but later on when I started to jot down some points, I realized that it would be a lot better if we simply replace it with how to be a good teacher or a good parent. Because almost both of these individual responsibilities are somehow or the other related to how they behave and how they bring up and nurture the young ones, because that is the age and the time of an individual's life in which they are supposed to simply understand their roles, responsibilities, their strengths, their weaknesses, their abilities. So there's a lot of responsibility on the adult side when it comes to teaching the young ones how to learn the basic things through which they would be able to become a better individual, a better version of themselves. So why did I think about it first of all? Well, there are two reasons for it. Number one, I have simply gone through that phase in my own life. You see, I have been through this childhood thing. I was a student, I entered my teens, I entered into my adulthood, and then I turned into a professional. And on the other side, I have chosen to be a teacher. I am a lecturer, I'm a university lecturer, and I get a chance to interact with so many young, brilliant minds from which I learn a lot, I tend to learn a lot. And as one of my teachers also told me, that knowledge is basically a two-way traffic. We tend to think as though we are basically learning from our teacher, but that is not the case. In reality, our teacher is also learning a lot from us being the students. And if that is the belief that you have in your mind, you're going to be a good teacher as well as a good parent, because in both cases you have a lot of responsibilities. So if we begin the discussion, the idea basically came up within my mind when I was just discussing this thing one day with my mother. And I was telling her that, you see, earlier I used to think that the young ones don't know much and we have to teach them a lot. But there is a very tricky area within this teaching thing. You see, whenever you are telling them, don't do this, don't do that. So if you are continuously and consistently using this style of telling them that don't do this, don't do that, they get so scared that they don't take the initiative of performing any kind of action, because this thing goes inside their subconscious that whenever they do something, it will go wrong. And our parents will be scolding us, our teachers will be scolding us, and the rest of the students will be laughing at us. So they won't be able to actually find the hidden confidence that is there within them right from day one. So basically the point that I chose at the very start is, stop using the word don't in your life, especially while interacting with your young ones. Because this don't simply stays within their mind, within their heart, and they simply start saying this thing to themselves in the later phase of their life, that don't do this, because someone will scold you, someone will simply, hit you with something like that. Why did you do that? Because everything that you're going to do is wrong. So this thing is going to have a very long lasting impact if you will simply continue to teach or train your young ones saying the word don't, because it has a long lasting impact. So think of some positive or soft alternative that I have in the later part of the video, but keep that in mind, because it's going to have a very negative impact on a child's mind and a child's brain, especially in the initial phase of the life. He or she will become too scared of performing any kind of action. So I guess enough said regarding point number one. Let's move ahead. Yeah, point number two is, don't think that they know nothing. They means the younger ones, because you probably would have heard of it also, that child is the father of a man. So it's a general statement, but it goes to both sides. Like, the younger ones are basically quite advanced, because they do not belong to the same age in which you were begotten by your own parents. You had your own circumstances. These younger ones of the current age are having so many different contexts, so many different scenarios within which they have so many things to interact with. If I talk about myself, let's say, so I belong to the age in which like PC was coming, like Pentiums were coming gradually and steadily within different houses, and I could see it in the neighborhood, in my own house. Gradually it came as well. Started to learn things. Like my mom started to teaching me how to type and paint and write stuff over it. I wasn't that computer friendly. It gradually started to come with time when more resources started to come, but there was no concept of a smartphone. Don't even think about it. How can we simply imagine to have a smartphone in our own mind or in our own hand? Like, I belong to the age in which even a single head of the family would have a smartphone. A simple wireless or cordless phone, that would be a big thing. So I belong to the age in which we used to write letters on papers you see in this form. So, but if we talk about the young brains and talented minds of this age, so they're born with a smartphone. You see, it's there within them. Even their moms and parents are basically, making or playing nursery rhymes for them on these smartphones. So they tend to find this smartphone as a very good partner with whom they can interact. I'm not a very strong advocate of technology, especially of this sort. I believe that these kids really require and deserve their parents' time, care, and attention. But these things somehow or the other are there. If you want to simply expose your kids to this technology, they'll simply find it one way or the other with some other friends or with their neighbors, class fellows. Somehow or the other these things would come. So my point is they have a lot of exposure to these things. So from which they tend to learn a lot compared to your own time in which you had to go to the library, search for the right book, and then search for the right chapter and details to find out the answer to the question that are there within your mind. So that was a very time consuming process, but they just simply Google it or simply type it on YouTube. They can find everything that they are looking for. So don't assume as though they don't know anything. They know a lot. But still, if they come at your class, or if they are coming for some guidance to you, that means that they still take you as a role model, as a good ideal who is going to solve their problem. It's a blessing, it's a good thing that they still wish to find the answer to their problem in your opinion, in your perspective. Try to utilize it in a better way. Give them the knowledge that they are looking for. Give them the things that they are seeking. And believe me, they are not looking for something that is theoretical. Theoretical knowledge is already there within these YouTube videos, Google resources. So they can simply, get all the bombardment of knowledge and information on these resources. They're here for some practical knowledge that is there within the mind and heart of their parent or their teacher, which was my point number 3, that to show the practical side of the theoretical concept, because they already know the theory. So you basically got the idea. Let's move ahead with the next approach, that is according to my own term basically. I termed as how about formula. So as I told you at the very initial part of the video, I'm going to talk about some other alternatives. Don't say don't all the time. Think of some other alternatives. For example, if you tell your young ones that, how about if we simply finish the class after completing this chapter? How about switching off the light before going to sleep? How about having a breakfast before going for the school? How about brushing our teeth before going to sleep? So my point is that if you are simply coming up with these phrases, you're making them think rather than simply dictating your thoughts on them. You're not imposing things, you are involving them within the activity and role performing. That is my point of view. Come up with some phrases that are friendly, that are kind towards them, not being authoritative towards your kids, because they are going to develop a persona about you that this is a guy or a girl or a woman or a man who is always going to be annoyed, who is always going to dislike our acts. So they won't do anything in front of you. They won't open up before you. They might have so many problems within their minds, but they won't be able to share it with you. Just because this person is not going to simply give us any kind of solution except for scolding us, mocking us, ridiculing us, insulting us. So they feel the insult also. That's my point of view. That's the reason of the whole video. To teach you the things that I've learned Simply take them as a complete full individual that is of a little small size and a little less cognitive development compared to you, but is seeking some good answers to the question that are simply popping up in his or her mind. They seek some guidance, and your role as a parent, as a teacher, is to give them the answers to their questions that are coming within their mind. If you're doing it, you're doing an excellent job. So the other thing that I just talked with my mom also is that once you feel like that our kids have started to grow up, to become mature, wise, they are able to be more creative, they have they have developed some good problem solving abilities, for which we have so many good games. I like chess because it really makes you quite strategic in your moves. You have so many difficult situations out of which you have to simply think of coming out, to simply hit the king, which simply check the opponent's king and even attacking the opponent's queen. So there's so much that this game teaches you, but that is just one. I believe that there's so many other that can help develop the cognitive side of your child. So once you think like he really or she really has developed those things, then you can move with the next step, and that is the application of what do you think approach. When I say what do you think, that means that you are simply presenting your kids with some real life problems, real life challenges that are somehow related to your household activities. So you simply make them a part of the decision making, and you simply ask them, what do you think, dear? Had you been at my place, what would you have done? Or what do you think of it? So if you are involving your kids or students in those problem solving abilities, they'll be so confident. First of all, they'll be so happy that you are simply considering their opinion in a problem solving situation. Secondly, they'll become so confident that we are being, our own thoughts are being trusted in such a challenging situation, that they'll really put in their best effort. They'll also start contributing to solve these problems. And just imagine how good you are as a teacher, involving all your students, involving all your kids to become a better individual and a better professional of the future. So you are simply doing an excellent job if you are applying all these abilities. And I would simply say at the end, as I have written it also, that these things all together are considered or can be considered as the confidence boosters that are going to help you as a teacher and your kids and students as professionals of the future. My last statement at the end is, prepare them for the time when you won't be there to solve their problems, because that is inevitable. You won't always be there. I won't be here. I'm trying to record these videos because this is my life experience. Hopefully it is going to help someone, but my point of view is that prepare them for a situation within which you won't be there for them. So if you have given them all these strategies, approaches, they'll be confident enough to take life with you or without you. That is all I have to say. I wish you all the best. You'll be a super and a great teacher by the application of these abilities and the ones that you already know. If you would like to share some with me, I'll be happy to read them within the comments. So looking forward to your feedback also.